Hi guys, so today I am beyond excited to be showing you the revamped Wizard collection. Fun fact, this collection was actually the very first full collection that I ever released in my shop when it opened last April in 2022. And my collection format has changed quite a bit since then, so I thought at first that this was going to be just a light reformat, but it turned into a very heavy one, and I had to scrap pretty much 99% of the entire collection. I only kept like 2.5 sheets basically in total, and I redesigned pretty much everything for my new like style and format. So I'm really excited about that because this is a collection I feel like is going to be like the most useful out of like probably most of them in my shop. It's probably like the most popular theme to do, and especially personally in my own planner, I think I'm going to get a ton of use out of it because I am rewatching Harry Potter with my family, so very excited to have the most updated format to use with this theme. So I did foil this in silver to go with the mock spread. Once you see it, you'll know that matte silver probably would have worked better, but matte silver is really hard to work with, so I just went with normal silver. And there's quite a lot of exciting stuff in here. First, as the usual disclaimer, if you see any imperfections or black spots, just know that those are only going to be on these like demo versions of these sheets and will not be on any final products that are sent out. But I think the silver cooperated with me a lot today, so it should be pretty okay. Oh, and I also just reprinted the ones that were like the worst, so this should be like a fair representation of what you will get. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the underlays. So originally, there were 3 underlays in the collection when it first launched, and my standard format is 4. But I had a couple requests for underlays that were more like dark arts themed and just like some other generic Harry Potter underlay requests, and so eventually it turned into 8, and I thought of a couple that I might want to do at a later date, so don't worry, there's still going to be more added to this collection as I come up with it. But right now I figured 8 would be good because it's going to be much easier to double up on my standard format, especially for the bundle. So there's just going to be like version 1 and version 2 of the bundle, so you can choose between this set of 4 underlays or that set of 4. But anyway, let's get into it. So I did revamp the large underlays, which is the busiest pattern. Before it used to be like a little bit too tiny, I feel like, and like cramped together, but this is kind of more reminiscent of my current style. So it is still really small, and you will still be able to see the icons like peeking out from behind any boxes and labels that you may put over them. So if you have really busy days, then this is the perfect underlay for you. But if you want something more sparse, then we do have the medium. I guess I put these out of order, but I did keep the medium the same because it still works. But yeah, this is definitely a sparser version of this if you don't want something quite as busy. And then I did keep the maps underlays the same because I just love these so much. However, they make for a really good base photo, but once you cover them up, it's kind of hard to see what's going on there. But I just loved them too much to change them, and I think I did use them fairly recently as well in my planner. So here they are. And then for the last one in the like standard first 4, I did a snitch pattern. This is like the kind of subtle pattern for this set. So if you want something that's like pretty small and subtle compared to everything else, but still like covers all the surface area, then this snitch pattern is for you. It's just like a bunch of flying snitches in different directions and sizes with like little sparkly magic trails behind them just to like show where they're flying. So super cute and super simple. So for the fun ones, this first one was like an obvious request that like needed to happen because of the recent, I think, dark arts kit from SPC. So I did add some dark elements into this set if you want to use this with that. So we do have the dark mark underlays, of course, had to happen. Makes a super good pattern as well. So there is that. And then for this next one, I got creative very creative for the next 3. But this one, I do like my script underlays. I keep forgetting they exist though, but I just randomly remembered them for this set, and I thought, well, what could be more perfect than the Hogwarts acceptance letter? So that is what is taking up this underlay. That is the text that is on here. Usually it would have your name there, but I just put dear student because, you know, it could be anybody. And then it's, you know, signed Minerva McGonagall, and then it kind of starts over there as well. But, yep, you can pretty much have the whole letter here, which is super fun. And I did kind of like edit the size and spacing, so it is a little bit slightly bigger and easier to read, but like still close together than my previous script underlays. So I really like that reformat. And then next we have the plants one, which is kind of like herbology. So there's like a bunch of plants in pots, but then like every now and then you'll see the little mandrake in the pot too. The detail's kind of lost on these because these are like hand-drawn plants, I believe. So it's once you foil it, it's kind of hard to see the detail, but there is like a little mandrake with this little screaming mouth open that is in that pot. So it's like kind of vaguely Harry Potter. Like you could use this for any plant kit, honestly. But it does have that like sneaky hidden Harry Potter element. And this was also a request, so I tried to fulfill that as best I could. And this last one was also a request. This was a request for a potions shelf, or like a potions underlay basically, but I decided to make it shelves because it just looks so cute. So these are like a whole bunch of magic potions with like magical sparkles in there as well, and you can see they're like filled with different things. So that is like super fun. I really like these underlays. So that is potions, and yeah, that is all the underlays. And I did a poll on Instagram recently asking if you guys wanted to have half-cut underlays, because personally in my planner I use a lot of like either half-day extenders or big box extenders, in which case I like need to cut underlays in half in order to make them fit sometimes, and it is kind of a pain. Like they never end up even, they're never straight, and they like never quite work like perfectly in the space. So I figured like I personally would want the convenience of having them be half cut already, and since I'm a shop owner I can just like do it. And I wondered if other people like would like that convenience, and enough of y'all said yes to where I just ended up doing it. So I'm going to try to list this. I haven't quite formulated the listing yet, but my thinking is that it's going to be, you can either get a whole sheet of 4 half cut, which would mean like 8 total like underlay stickers, or you could get like a 6th sheet, which would be only like 2 full underlays, so 4 half cut ones. So it would just like depend on like how many extenders you need or like what you're using in that spread. But I wanted like a smaller option for that specific sheet, so hopefully that is what I am able to figure out when I do the listings for these. But I just did practice on the snitch underlays in gold because I figured like gold is like the perfect color for snitch underlays, and I might be able to use these personally, so I figured I would just have a bunch for myself, but as an example to show you guys as well. So they're like the same underlays, but they're just half cut. So you have that, and it's actually pretty hard to peel the second one from that same corner, but you can easily peel it from the opposite corner. So there you go, and they're cut perfectly in half for your convenience. It's like a super bougie option, like very extra convenience to have, but that's what my shop is kind of all about. So, and that's just a great way to also show you how these snitch underlays look in gold and silver. I feel like are going to be really popular with this collection. So now let's get into the rest of the set. We have the Confetti full box overlays now, starting with the full. All of these were completely revamped as well. The old format was actually fairly close to my current format, but it still needed a revamp, so I did give it one. So these are brand new, and these are the busiest overlays. We got stuff in all 4 corners and all 4 sides. But like the icons are pretty much the exact same as with the older collection. Some of the art is like newer and used in different places, but like the main set of 6 icons is basically the same. So you have our like Snitch, Deathly Hallows, Lightning Bolt, Glasses, Owl, and then person on a broomstick. So that is full. And then we have medium 4-corner, which has stuff only in the corners. And this also comes in 3 corners. So if there's something in, or that there's like clip art in a corner of a full box that you don't want to cover up, then you can grab a corners sheet. And there's also the 2 corners one, of course. So you have our slant ones, and then we have just the bottom 2 and top 2. And then we have the small version of the confetti, which I'll do a quick size comparison to the medium. It is quite a bit smaller. So this is a lot more subtle if you want to cover up even less of the clip art. And then that, of course, comes in the 3-corner and 2-corner as well. And here's a little like hint: if you only need like a couple of the corner or like 3-corner overlays, and you just like have extras, but like you don't necessarily want to buy a whole nother sheet of like the 4-corner, you can just get like the separate sheet of just corners, like kiss cut corners, or rather contour cut corners is how we're supposed to say it now. And then you can just like pop a little extra corner on there, and then it turns into like a 4-corner overlay. So it's a little like hack for you if you don't want to get so many sheets. But these are priced like lower than the standard quarter sheet in my shop, because I know that you're like meant to purchase multiple per spread, so they are priced for that. And then next we have the double box scenes. So we have our classic confetti double box scene up here, and then for the bottom one, I literally almost did Quidditch, because Quidditch is like everywhere else in the set, but I really wanted to have like a little scenery. So we have the Hogwarts castle and then the Quidditch pitch here. So I did do some Quidditch, but it's not the Quidditch that you'll see in the rest of the set. But yeah, I just wanted these here for some reason. So there's some scenery, and you can see a little owl. And then over here, there's some Quidditch players on brooms as well. And then there's just sparkles around there too. So that is the 2 versions of the double box scene overlays. And then of course we have our tall box. You can get your 2 most standard sizes of a tall box on there, and some flags. And then we have 2 versions of the big box, since starting with the last collection I have been doing 2 versions. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it up, or if I'm going to add even more, but right now there's 2. So we have the standard confetti version of the big box overlay. These do come in 2 sizes. You can get the tall for Glam Planner or Apple Blossom Prints big boxes, and the small size for paper candy art. And here is the new one, which I did continue with the border theme, but I also did like a little confetti, well actually like a sparkle kind of border feel in the corners, so that's kind of new and fun. And we have the snitch and the Quidditch player, and then the flags at the bottom, so that's the fun one. A lot of magic sparkles just like everywhere in this collection, as you can tell. I did do magic sparkles in the fairy one, which was the last collection, but they are a bit chunkier sparkles. And then we have the full box overlay sheet, which I only slightly revamped, kind of. This box is almost the same, this border. I just added the lining bolt above the glasses. This is new. I did the like icon border. I did revamp this one. This is the Marauders map border. It used to be just like some giant footsteps just along the side here, but they were like too big, and so I made them smaller, and then I just did some more around here so it looks more like a map. And then I love this one, so I did the border, but then I also did the Hogwarts castle at the very bottom of the border. I just think that looks super cool, and I wanted to have like a giant Hogwarts castle like available. I know there's like a million other like Harry Potter overlays that like you can get as like clip art places, and other shops have done them. I don't know if I'm gonna do them. I don't particularly need all of those right now, but it may be an option for like adding to this collection in the future, which like I've already said I probably will do with Underlays at least. Next we have quotes, and I did go crazy with the quotes because there are just so many good Harry Potter quotes, and I only did a few in the original version of this collection. I only did 2 actually, because I was like trying to hand letter them at the time and it was really hard. But now that I have like a set of fonts that I use pretty consistently, I just like went crazy and did all of them. So there's 3 quotes sheets, starting with the quote boxes. Usually I like write quote boxes in the corner, but I just left it as quotes this time. I don't even know. But I did do these 2 quotes that were the ones I originally did, and I did keep them on this sheet. They're in the confetti overlay, so if you have like a pattern full box that you need to cover it completely with foil, then these are your quote options. But if you are putting this over like clip art, then you get this one, which goes in the middle, and then this one, which is like more subtle at the bottom, so you get like plenty of options. for whatever type of full box you are wanting to put a quote over. So we have, it is not due to dwell on dreams and forget to live. And then, do not pity the dead, pity the living, and above all those who live without love. And then for the like more subtle quotes, we have "You're a wizard, Harry," and "The boy who lived." In a lot of places, wherever they mention somebody's name, I have cut it out though, so that's like the only place you'll see Harry. The rest I pretty much just like try to keep it like generic. And then we have 2 quote samplers. So here's the first one. Here's the first one. I only had room to put these 2 quotes from the quote boxes on here. Everything else is unique. So we have "I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good," and then "mischief managed," which is another, like, I needed another small quote to fill up that space and just to give y'all more options. But like those 2 are kind of like a pair that are like Marauders map themed. This one also could like go at the very bottom of a full box, I feel like, or just in the middle. And then the rest of these are just themed to go in the middle. So we have "It is our choices that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities." Then we have, I had to include some funny ones. So, "Of all the trees we could have hit, we had to get one that hits back." And that's when Harry and Ron hit the Whomping Willow in their flying Ford Anglia in the second movie. And then this one, another funny quote that is just like one of my favorite quotes. "There are some things you can't share without liking each other, and knocking out a 12-foot mountain troll is one of them." I feel like I forgot part of that quote. I think it's like without ending up liking each other or something, but oh well, it is what it is. But yeah, that's a hilarious quote. And then we have, "Of course it is happening inside your head, but why on earth should that mean that it is not real?" And then, "If you want to know what a man's like, take a good look at how he treats his inferiors, not his equals." I feel like there's a quote for every like feeling or occasion, so no matter what kit you're using or whatever full box you want to put it over, like you're gonna find an option. And a lot of these are like character specific, so like we have "always" here. So if you have like a Snape box, which I feel like there probably is one in the Dark Arts kit, I haven't like looked, but there probably is one, then like you can use that one. Or if you have a Luna box, "You're just as sane as I am," could go over that. I have like a couple Luna kits, so there you go. And then "Here lies Dobby, a free elf." If you have a Dobby box, which I'm sure there exists one somewhere. And these are all like pretty small quotes, can go anywhere. And then we have like a set of quotes, which I kept them separate for a reason. This is when Harry is like about to go into the forest at the end of the 7th book and like sacrifice himself to Voldemort, and he's like talking to the, I don't know, not necessarily ghost, but like kind of ghost of his dad, and he's asking, "You'll stay with me?" And then his dad says, "Until the very end." Very, very sweet and sad. And I kept them separate because in my mind, I'm probably going to put this at the top of a full box, and then this will be at the bottom of a full box. So that's like my plan for that. And then we have a Fred and George quote, "Anything's possible if you've got enough nerve." I thought that was like super inspirational, so I just wanted to include that like separately. And then we have like a lot of longer ones that I just like, I have to do the longer ones. "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. It is the unknown we fear when we look upon death and darkness, nothing more. And we are only as strong as we are united, as weak as we are divided." So I love all of these quotes like so much. So that's why we get every single one, and I'm going to use them like crazy. And then the scripts. So I did have movie scripts originally, and they were like a little bit too small to like foil properly, and also like in my old format. So I like slightly revamped them. So I took out like all of my actual handwriting, and then I included some of like the new cursive font on some of them where it made sense, but these regular ones are like pretty plain, which I kind of like the look of it. But we just have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone all the way up through Deathly Hallows, and then so those are like for the books. And then if you're watching the movies, then we have Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, if you're like reading the screenplay or going to see the play, like whichever. And then we have the 3 Fantastic Beasts movies that are out. And then we have Harry Potter 20th Anniversary Return to Hogwarts, which I've already seen. So sadly, I can't use this to mark that, but it's on there. And then I just included a few Hogwarts Legacies because that game is like coming out. So I figured probably y'all might be playing that if you are Harry Potter interested. and then just repeated the books from 1 to 7, and then I just had space for some Harry Potters here, so you can do whatever you want with those. So that is the script sampler. And now we can get into the smaller sheets. So as usual, we have our whole reinforcers to start off with, which were not at all available in the original launch of this set, because I didn't start doing them until like probably halfway through like the length of my shop at this point. But yeah, I think y'all are going to be very happy to have these. And then the headers used to be all on one sheet, but they have been changed to the new format, which is on individual sheets. The Confetti was revamped and reformatted to be the new subtle Confetti. So that's what it looks like. The other two headers I left exactly the same. This is like the other thing I left the same in addition to 2 of the underlays. So we have the Glasses and Lightning headers, and then these Snitch and Deathly Hallows headers. So, I mean, it's pretty simple as you can get, and each header sheet has 11 headers, so you only need 2 of these sheets technically to complete a spread. But if you want like 1 of each, then you can certainly purchase like the all 3 option for like basically the same price as the full sheet used to be, so pretty good deal. And then pretty much all these sheets are new and were not like available with the original launch. I mean, the deco was, but now it's on a mini sheet. And I did like revamp it a little bit. So we have our larger deco near the bottom, and then medium size, and then small deco, and then the tiny cluster deco, and then the teeny tiny deco, which is like half cluster, half normal deco. And then I had like an extra row up here just because I made these so freaking small that I added more. So I added a couple snakes because obviously you need snakes. And there are some like magic sparkles too that you can put anywhere, so there's some extra fun on that sheet. And then y'all have already seen this if you watch my Plan With Me's, but I do have the witch or wizard hats, which are like perfect for character stickers, but honestly they are good as deco. You can just put them anywhere in the spread. They're so tiny they will fit easily anywhere to fill up any space and add some extra foil to it. But obviously I personally love to put these on character stickers in Harry Potter spreads. So we have some with the brim and without the brim, and they are like super duper tiny. I feel like some characters will need some bigger ones, so in like future sets I am kind of reformatting it to make like some of these types of hats and stuff bigger, but I just decided to leave this the way it is for now. And then the cornice sheet is another one that was not at all available in the original format of this set. So that's new and exciting. We have our medium corners here. We have a set of the small confetti corners. And then these that I made especially for this sheet. We have the like really subtle tiny corners here. You got several of those. And then you have the like photo corners here. So like these are great for either putting over full boxes in the place of full box overlays, or I personally love to use these over half boxes and third boxes and just literally wherever I can fit them. Movie marquees, even fancy labels sometimes, appointment labels, like you name it, I'll put one of these over it. So I get a lot of use out of that sheet. All of these sheets actually, except the divider sheet. I like pretty much never use the divider sheet for specific collections. I don't know. So I left these largely the same as they were. This was like one of the other things that I kind of left the same. These are pretty much the same essentially. I did like slightly change the snitch, I think. Oh, this is new, this little snitch dainty confetti. And then there were like wand dividers on the old sheet that I just like, I needed to keep them because I love them. So they are here again. Just ignore that black dot. But yeah, we have the wands. And then I did a little snake divider. It's not really a divider. It is 1.5 width, but like it's way too enormous to be an actual divider. I mean, if you have that much space, you can use it as a divider. But I just like really needed that snake to be there. Probably because I'm gonna try to use it as like a full box overlay somewhere. Like I'm gonna stick it somewhere. You better believe it. I'm gonna find a place for it. I just needed some large snakes on this sheet, so this is where they live now. But yeah. So that is the divider sheet. Also, the sheet is available on Premium Mat. So if you use it over Busy Underlays, then you would have that white border around it so you can like still see the divider. So yes, options. And then lastly, we have the dangles and swoops. which I'm really excited because I did have dangles and swoops like from day one basically, but they were like horrible and like large and not super usable, and in a very recent reformat they are not usable, so yay. So here are the dangles. You have the long ones, the medium ones, and then the teeny tiny ones down here, and then the itty bitty swoops on the sheet, and then just garlands as well, just for fun. And then we have the full size swoops, which go over like the full width of the full box, and then just in the extra space I put some mini swoops. So we have like design 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they're all mirrored as well. And then we have the full sheet of mini swoops, which has designs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then these are repeated, and then they are mirrored. So plenty of options here. I get a ton of use out of this sheet as well. So I'm very excited to have these. All of these actually, because I am still using a lot of Harry Potter kits. I have like the next 2 picked out. Very exciting. And now let's get into the bottom washi. Starting with the 32 millimeter, which is another thing that did not exist back when I was first launching this collection. So I did just like do the Quidditch theme because, like, I don't know, Quidditch seems like a really easy like scene to do for Harry Potter related stuff. So we do have like a little Quidditch pitch here. We have 3 sets of hoops, which is like not right. It should just be 2, but whatever. There's 3 now. And then we have like the players scattered around. We have some balls. The ones near the Quidditch hoops are quaffles, and then the ones just like randomly flying around are bludgers. Obviously the snitch is the snitch. And then this guy has a little beater's bat for the bludgers, and yeah, the snitch still has little sparkles behind it. And then for the deco, I did want to do Dementors. I didn't want to put the Dementors exactly on the Quidditch pitch because like I wanted to like keep it like a happy theme, but if you want to like make it darker, and if you're using it like with the dark arts kit or whatever, then you can like add the Dementors onto the Quidditch pitch or just like anywhere in the spread. So there are some Dementors on this sheet and an extra snitch just for fun. So pretty spooky, but yeah, those are going to be fun to like kind of do it yourself to this scene. I kind of like want to do more stuff like that in the future. Like I already like paper dolls my character stickers by giving them little hats and stuff, so I kind of want to like do a little paper doll scene with the washi. That's like a good idea that I just had just now. All right, so for the 15 millimeters, we have just like the basic mixed pattern one, which is just like the mixed icons plus magic sparkles everywhere. So that's fun. Very basic. And then I did have a Quidditch one in the initial launch of this collection, but it was just like the hoops and then like owls for some random reason, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense really, so I replaced the owls with just characters. So this is like a real simple version of the 32 millimeter, which makes sense because this has a lot more space to work with, so I generally add more detail in that one, but like here's like the super basic version of the Quidditch overlay. And of course you can just add in whatever deco you want. If you want to add in like snitches from the deco sheet or whatever, you can do that too. And then this is like an attached scene of like a player and the hoops, and I made it slightly not as wide as 1.5 inches, so you can put it as like a full box overlay, but you kind of like have freedom in where you're placing it. So that's my thought with that. And then this next one I really love. I had to do snakes, obviously. So we have some pythons here. It's funny because the original type of snake that this was not a python. It like had one of those thick heads, like, I don't know, like a sand boa. But like I had to grab the head of another snake that was a python to like add on to this, because like the body was perfect, but the head needed to be a python because Nagini is a python. So I did some little Photoshop magic here. But I think it like looks pretty seamless. But yeah, like I love the detail of like the scales on this snake. The cut lines are off on this, like ignore that. The actual, I forgot to adjust them, but the actual cut lines, they are a bit lower so that you are not like actually cutting into any part of the snake. It should like fit around the snake pretty snugly, but yeah, it doesn't really cut through it. But yeah, I love the details of the scales and everything. And then of course we have the same snake but 1.5 inches width, so you can use that over a full box too. So this is also another one that's great if you are using the dark arts kit. Just like pull in this type of washi as well. That would be a great thing to do, as well as using like the dark mark underlays and stuff. Like there's ways you can make this work with the dark arts set. And then next is probably my favorite washi of all time. We have a little scene of basically every location in Harry Potter plus the train. And I got super artsy and I added train tracks, and I kind of made it look like they were going like through like Hogsmeade Village and the actual castle. So that's where like the train is headed. This is the Hogwarts Express, obviously. And so it's like headed through there, and then once you put this side by side, it actually does like make a full scene. So like as you can tell, like the castle has been cut in half right there, and then the right part resumes over here. So once you put it side by side, it'll make like one complete image. It does repeat here, but like that's fine because obviously you need to be able to see the entire castle. But yeah, we have the castle, the bridge, Quidditch pitch, Hagrid's hut, Forbidden Forest, Hogsmeade, the Burrow, and the Whopping Willow, and then it repeats. Obviously these things are not next to each other in real life, but it's kind of fun that they are all there, all present and accounted for. And I had to add the train in. So I'm like super duper obsessed with this. This is probably one of my favorite washis of all time. I love scenes, and I think this one is like super detailed, so I love it. I will not take credit for like this clip art. I did locate this clip art, but I like couldn't say no to it. It was like perfect for this exact purpose. So here you go. And then of course we have the confetti at 15mm as well. This also is revamped. And then flag overlays. And then if you're using a glam planner kit or any other shop's kit that has 10 and 7mm washis, then you would want to grab this sheet as well. We have our 10mm, which is the Flying Snitches. You will notice that is very similar to the Flying Fairies washi that was in the last collection, but it just like was too perfect to just plug in the snitches instead. So Flying Snitches. And then the confetti is the same as on the headers. And then we have our flag overlays as well, and these are sized for glam planner. But honestly, there's like a 1mm difference between the glam planner and the SPC flags. So, well, the older version of the SPC flags. So it could work for both. But yeah, that is the washi. And that is basically the entirety of the Wizard collection. Now I'll go over the bundle, which does come in a mini and an ultimate size. The mini, it does not have underlays, and the ultimate, you can choose whatever underlays you want from the collection. As I said before, you will be able to choose between two listings. The first, like version 1 listing, will have the first 4 underlays, and then version 2 will have the second 4, just because it's like really impossible to like edit the listing any further than I already have. Like you can't just make small tweaks like that to it. It's like, it's very complicated with how I do it. Mainly because I offer an unfoiled option for the bundles. So that basically means I have like almost 400 variations of this, and it's really hard to edit them, much less double them if I'm going to do double the underlays. So I'd rather just make 2 versions of the same listing. So that's how it's going to work. And there is an optional add-on sheet for both the mini and the ultimate size. It's the same add-on sheet, but you can add it onto both. So first we have the full box overlays. I did have the bundle when I initially launched this collection, but it was like the old format, so it's very exciting. But now you get the new format option. So we have our 2 full confetti overlays, 2 medium 4-corner, medium 2-corner, and then the confetti double box scene. And then you can pick your 2 underlays, 2 sheets of underlays rather. Here we have the large. And then for the next sheet we have the headers, so you get one of each of the header designs. You have the deco at the bottom and then the corners at the top here. For the bottom washi sheet, I just choose usually the most basic washi pattern, And then the confetti is below it. We have our date dots, beacon banner, tiny deco, and dividers as well. And then here we have the add-on sheet with 2 extra underlays. I did the matte pattern because, again, it's pretty much like my favorite. And then you have 2 medium 3-corner overlays, 2 from the full box overlay sheet, and then 2 from the quotes sheet. I pretty much always do 1 confetti one and then 1 of the teeny tiny ones, so you have an option for whatever you need to use it for. That is the current version of the format. I am going to reformat it, probably starting with next collection, because I've been like thinking about it for a while, and what really bugs me is not really knowing what to put in this space and like always putting corners in the space. And then having the extra underlays here that like don't necessarily match whatever underlays you're going to choose for the main ones. So it just like seems kind of odd to like have ones that don't match, but like it's good to have extra underlays, but it's like just confusing. So my plan is to remove these entirely, so there's not going to be any of these. And if you do use extra underlays, you will just have to purchase them a la carte, and obviously you can like choose however many you need, and you can choose what pattern they are to match like whatever you choose for the main bundle. These are also priced a lot cheaper than the typical quarter sheet, because I know that you need to purchase multiple per spread typically, so it is going to be a pretty cheap a la carte option if you do need them, but they're not going to be here in the add-on, because 90% of my bundle sales do include the add-on sheet. So I know it's basically like part of the kit at this point. So yeah, it just makes sense to kind of change it and make it more useful. So those are going to be gone. The 2 quote overlays that I choose are going to be part of the kit, and they're going to be up here is my plan. So they're for sure like going to be built into it. So if you don't need the quotes and the only reason you were buying the add-on sheet was for, so if you do typically need them and the only reason you are buying the add-on sheet was for them, then you will no longer have to do that. The corners are going to go onto the add-on sheet instead and replace them, and all the rest will pretty much be the same of the add-on sheet. So yeah, I figured like the most useful thing to add to the main kit itself would be the quotes, because like quote overlays are like having a real heyday. And yeah, the corners are like, I don't know, less useful. I don't see that many people using them, so they're going to be on the add-on. But yeah, that is the bundle, and let's go over the mock spread that I'm going to be doing. I had like a lot of Harry Potter kits that like I would be fine to use for a mock spread. I have a lot of like printable ones that are not in a format that I could currently use, so I am just going to like donate those, I think. But I do have this old one from Creating & Co, which I love the art, but like her kit format is just completely useless to me now. It didn't even come with like with little things. There was 0, so, and I usually need like 40 per spread, so obviously that was an issue. So that is why this is now the mock spread kit. I don't remember what it was called, but super fun. It's like a Ravenclaw theme, which I am a Ravenclaw, so obviously that's why I picked it up. But it's very blue, and I love it. I think silver is going to be a nice complement to that, even though like bronze is the color in the books of Ravenclaw. It's like blue and bronze, but in the movies it's like blue and silver, so that's a-okay with me. I think I like blue and silver better. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and lay down everything onto the mock spread, and then I will come back and show you how it all looks and explain where everything is. So let's get into it. Okay, so here is the mock spread. Really love how it turned out. I put down all of the underlays so that you could see all of them. I did leave all, some of them uncovered. I did put down one of the medium and I did cover it up, but you can pretty much see the pattern behind it, so I think it's still a pretty good representation. Here we have the large, kind of also partially covered. And then we have the plants underlay, and there it is covered. The letter underlay and covered. Map, uncovered map. And potions, uncovered potions. Dark mark covered and uncovered. Snitch covered and uncovered. And yeah, I think that's all of them. And then we do have the bottom washi. I used the 32mm. And I did add in the Dementors. So kind of a fun effect. And then you can also see the header overlays. All three of them. We have the full box overlays as well. Here I did do the little hack that I told you about because I didn't want to break into any of my sheets of the four corners. So I did one of the three corners and then one from the corners sheet to just fill in the fourth, and you can like barely tell. So it's a pretty good hack. We have the map overlay, the castle one, which looks so freaking cool. The glasses border one. This is the full cover quote one. And then here I used another three corner, one from the corners sheet, and then I wanted to fit in the floating quote here. And then here we have the castle double box scene, and then I added in a whole bunch of like swoops and dangles because it was like perfect in this place. And then here we have the bottom coat, and I added in more dangles, which you can also see the dangles like pretty much anywhere else in the swoops. I went crazy with those. We have the scripts in various places. See, they fit in quarter boxes. I think they fit in little things too, depending on the size, except this one, obviously. That's a big one. And then they do fit in the movie marquees, which I did do that on purpose. We have the dividers. There's a one divider, and there's a couple more one dividers here. And then the giant snake divider. And you can also see the little itty bitty snakes elsewhere too. I really love the little snakes. There's the snitch divider, and then one of the line dividers is here. And what else do we have? We have various deco pieces, some mini deco, mini swoops, and more deco bits, and just several variations of the corners scattered throughout as well. There's a corner, and right here, and yeah, I put some little deco bits along the top, of course, just wherever they fit in. And yeah, that is basically it. There's a ton going on here. I love how it looks, and this is definitely going to be a super versatile collection for whatever Harry Potter kit you are using, which I'm really happy about because I think there's going to be probably a lot still coming out. Like, it's definitely not going away anytime soon. So yeah, that is it for this video. These new releases should be live already because this video is going up late. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to like, comment, subscribe, and share, that would be amazing. And I will see you in my next video. Ciao, ciao.